The information I'm about to share with you is in that sacred space between what has been carefully hidden and what you have always known. This deep understanding has been kept hidden for a strong reason. Your inner self wasn't quite ready to fully hold the truth until now. It wasn't that the truth was hidden from you. You are pure consciousness having an experience of itself through a body. Everything in your life changes when you realize this simple truth. There were ancient wisdom keepers who understood a deep truth long before language began to classify and separate reality into separate things. Reality is not a solid, unmoving wall that you are stuck in. It is a field of pure awareness that is alive and changing all the time. It responds to and makes itself through your unique perception. These wise people from long ago didn't make rigid systems or write long, hard-to-understand manuals. They used signs and whispers to talk, telling stories that go beyond the words and point to a universal power that is deeply woven into what you call your awareness. You are now standing on the edge of memory, not as someone seeking new information, but as someone remembering a truth that has always been a part of you. The law of attraction you've talked about before is not a way to get things on your own. It's the basic pulse of everything that is. It is the eternal, invisible rhythm where consciousness melts into matter without a hitch. This force flows through everything like an invisible stream of light, carrying a perfect blueprint of every possible outcome that could ever happen. Every thought you hold for a long time sends exact waves through the quantum field. What happens next in your experience is shaped by the emotions that are most important to you. The things you are about to see are not written down or required by law. It's written in the field of your own being. Every idea in this book is meant to be an opening, an insight that changes your frequency and brings you into alignment with the deeper, more sacred mechanics of how life really works. The personal stories that are woven into this journey are living transmissions that are meant to gently wake up parts of your consciousness that have been dormant. There are a lot of places you have looked for answers, like teachers, books, practices, and complicated systems. The truth, on the other hand, has been here with you all along. There is a huge, uncharted area between your thoughts. This is the quantum womb, where all potential lives and consciousness shapes reality with a level of accuracy that your thinking mind can't even begin to understand. This isn't a figure of speech. This is the real law that keeps everything in the universe together. The deep knowing you're getting now was never really illegal. It just waited for the exact moment when everyone's attention turned back to themselves. As the illusion of separation fades and consciousness slowly grows, these truths are rising like old stars coming back to life in the night sky. They are bright, timeless, and familiar to the deepest part of you that is ready to see them. What comes next isn't just instructions. This is an initiation, a holy showing of the mechanics behind everything you see. Every phrase has its own frequency. Every deep realization makes a way for something new to come in. Walk through it and remember the huge power that was never gone, just quietly ignored. Please subscribe now if you are ready to stay in sync with this powerful frequency of remembering. By joining this field, you are energetically stating that you want to stay awake, which speeds up your journey of conscious creation. Before we go any further, please leave a comment below with the strong phrase, "I am ready." Let that be a clear sign to the universal field that you want to see what has been hidden from you the whole time. This knowledge is meant to grow. Please share this video with someone who is ready to remember their power. You become a catalyst when you share this transmission. You immediately set off a synchronistic ripple of energy that comes back to speed up your own path to manifestation. A woman named Evelyn stood every day in front of her grandmother's old mirror and said affirmations that made her chest hurt. She lived in a quiet town with worn-out stone streets that let in soft morning light. It was frustrating that her sincere hopes for meaning and plenty stayed out of reach, like stars she could see but never touch. One morning, she put both palms on the cool glass, and all of a sudden, a hairline crack appeared across its surface. In that moment of what seemed like loss, she realized something very important. The crack in the mirror showed an important fact. The mirror itself didn't need to be fixed. It was her own broken, deeply held view of herself. The universe is run by a beautiful law that can't be broken. The outside world doesn't match up with what you say or what you want. It shows the vibration of what you really believe about yourself at the deepest level of your mind. When you say one thing, but your whole nervous system is whispering a completely different message, reality always responds to the frequency that is strongest. This is exactly why repeating desires without fully living them out only makes things harder. The mirror of life doesn't react to what you say. It reacts to how you are. Evelyn made a big change when she stopped trying to make things change around her and started working hard to change the frequency inside her head. She went from saying empty words as part of her morning practice to really feeling the reality of her desires coming true. She could no longer see what was missing in the mirror. It started to show what kind of person she was becoming. Imagine a valley far away, where a small bird kept hitting a clear window over and over again, wearing itself out trying to reach the sky it saw reflected in the window. The window's complete clarity turned into a prison because no one could see it. This shows how even the most honest and well-meaning efforts can get in the way until we realize that the way forward isn't to use more force, but to change the way we see things. To be more specific, your reality is like a very clear mirror that shows you all of your persistent thoughts, core beliefs, and deep emotions. If you really understand how this works, you will have the ultimate key to transformation. Try as you might, you can't change what the mirror shows. You have to become the person you want to see back at you. If you feel deeply moved by this truth about introspection, please like this video right now. Think of the like button as your energetic agreement, a clear, positive yes to the universe that strengthens the frequency of the beautiful reality you are becoming. From the whispers of old knowledge comes the truth about Henry, a persistent seeker who learned that language alone does not have the power to create new things that last. Henry stood at his window every morning and spoke words from the most successful manifestation teachers that he believed in. He said things like prosperity and abundance with conviction, but nothing changed in his world. It was like the universe didn't hear him. The universe, which is smarter than you can imagine, doesn't care about the poetry you write. It hears the music you play. It's possible for your mind to speak one language and your emotional body to send a completely different message. The basic law of attraction can't work with this because it makes the vibrations contradict each other. When Henry talked about money, he could feel fear rising in his stomach. When he said he loved her, his chest felt heavy with the familiar weight of being alone. He spoke words that went up, but his energy went down, making a spiritual standstill. Finally, we get to the main idea. The universe responds to your frequency, not your vocabulary. You need to tune your whole body, heart, and mind like a skilled musician, not just remember the words to the song. When you hit a string with your emotions, it sends specific vibrations into the field of creation in space. Think about the mountain monastery's old radio. A young monk worked non-stop for days to connect to the holy transmissions. His radio buzzed with too much noise between two clear stations. There was static and stress on one channel, but peace and wisdom could be heard on the other. The interference wouldn't go away, no matter how well he spoke the mantras, until he learned to change his own internal frequency first. The clear channel that sent him the guidance he was looking for didn't show up until his heart was truly at peace. This is like how you interact with the law of attraction. Like that radio, you need to make sure that your emotional frequency matches what you're saying. Any powerful statements you make get lost in the noise when fear makes your vibration static. But when your deepest feelings and the things you say to yourself match up, reality has no choice but to show that. If this truth hits home for you, let us know in the comments what state you've chosen. Put in, "My state is my signal." That affirmation can be a powerful tuning fork that changes the frequency of your mind to match the music of abundance you want to hear. A woman named Clara rushed from vendor to vendor in a busy, colorful market, collecting charms and crystals that were said to bring good luck. The stones in her arms and the charms around her neck made her look very powerful. For some reason, she ended up at a simple tea house. Inside, an old woman with eyes that seemed to see through time waved her through. The woman said as she poured tea into a clay cup, "You are looking for many laws, but there is only one. Being aware." The steam rising between them made Clara's things clack against the wood. The woman went on, "The universe works with a single, beautiful mechanism. Whatever you really believe to be real must show up in your experience. Your belief isn't just a lens through which you see things. What you see and hear is made by the architecture itself. This truth is at the heart of all deep spiritual teachings, all metaphysical laws, and all practices. In the end, they all lead to the same truth. What you recognize shapes your experience. When you really understand this, you understand that luck isn't something outside of you that you have to bring in with things, but a natural result of having your awareness aligned. A stream winds through the eastern mountains, and kids often come to play there. There was a little girl named Maya who showed this principle without realizing it. While other kids carefully planned their way across the wet stepping stones, Maya just walked. She made sure that all 4 of her feet landed on solid ground. The stones seemed to rise from the water at the same time that her foot hit the ground, as if they were responding to her clear-headedness. From the outside, it looked like she was acting on faith alone. But Maya wasn't acting based on faith. She moved in perfect sync with a plan she couldn't see, but knew she had to follow. With her awareness so perfectly aligned with the possibility of safe passage, the universe had no choice but to make it happen. This shows how consciousness makes the world what it is. Being aware is not the same as passively observing. It means taking an active role in what happens. When you know deep down that something is true, the universe works in a beautiful way to make that truth appear in your physical world. Clara didn't waste the crystals and charms she found. They were ways to direct people's attention. But if you don't understand that awareness is the creative force itself, those tools are just empty words that can't really change things. You may have noticed that once you really understand something, like a solution, an opportunity, or a synchronicity, it starts to show up in all the different parts of your life. This is not a mistake. This is the law of awareness moving quickly. Your recognition leaves open the doorway that lets possibility enter the real world. Are you ready to follow this law of notice? When you click the like button, you consciously acknowledge the truth that what you acknowledge shapes your experience. By aligning yourself in this way, you help this realization become a part of your energy field. A woman named Vera stood in her corner office in the middle of a huge city where ambition flowed like a river that never stopped. She was surrounded by accomplishments that somehow felt empty. Every time she reached a goal, she felt short-lived happiness that quickly went away. The feeling of emptiness kept getting worse. Even though her life was everything that society thought of as successful, real peace was still impossible to reach. The language of feelings is a beautiful way for the universe to talk. This ancient idea shows that emotions are more than just responses to events. They are signs from God that point you toward or away from the best path for you. Knowing you are on the right path with your soul's purpose is confirmed when you feel genuine joy, deep peace, or inspired excitement. When feelings of worry, anger, or emptiness come up, they are not punishments. They are loving, kind changes in direction. Your feelings are like a holy compass that always points you in the right direction. As a precise gauge, each feeling tells you whether you're moving toward expansion or contraction. When you look at things through this clear lens, your tough emotions become helpful allies that show you exactly where you need to give yourself gentle attention and realignment. A lost traveler named Alexandra lived in a small mountain village in the middle of nowhere. She carried a strange compass in her pack that spun wildly whenever she followed the paths that other people had picked out for her. For years, she ignored its strange behavior and kept going in the same old ways that made her tired and confused. As dawnlight touched the mountaintops one morning, she saw that the compass wasn't broken. It wasn't pointing in the direction of magnetic north. It was pointing her straight toward her true calling. Just like Alexandra found, your emotional compass will always point you in the right direction. You have strayed from your deepest truth when you feel stiff, heavy, or squished. When you feel light, open, and at peace, you are walking in perfect harmony with the wisdom of your soul. Remember a time when you really followed your inner compass, even if it made no sense? Tell us about that moment in the comments. Describe the feeling of growth that led you. We prove the power of our collective wisdom when we share these moments. There is a gentle way for the universe to bring you back to yourself through your feelings. A woman named Ruthie lived in a small cottage on the edge of the forest. She spent her days caring for everyone else but herself, and her own dreams sat in the back of her mind, forgotten. She quickly brushed off any desire for more as selfish, unspiritual, or not worthy, whether it was for money, adventure, or creative expression. Your wants are not based on random urges or greed for material things. They are the universe's way of talking to you and wanting to be heard. When you feel a real yearning in your heart, you are experiencing the eternal force of creation trying to show itself in brand new ways. The infinite makes desires in you as the perfect way for it to grow, just like the ocean makes strong waves. You are moving with desire, which is part of the same power that makes flowers grow and galaxies spin. It's the same force, but your consciousness makes it your own. When you push away your deepest desires, you go against the flow of life. Your dreams aren't too big. They are perfectly tuned to the soul that holds them. People who taught you not to trust your desires got the pure urge to create mixed up with the ego's desperate grasping. Real desire feels like being inspired, like wings getting ready to spread, like joy being ready to happen. It makes everything better. It doesn't bring down other things. A tiny seed grew among the old cedars, buried deep under layers of leaves that had fallen. It didn't question its need for light or its desire to reach for the sun. The seed's desire was its destiny speaking. It was nature's intelligence coming out of its shell. During the long, dark winter, This longing kept it going and helped it grow until it finally came out into spring's embrace. Like that seed, your desires hold the perfect plan for how you will become. There are dreams in your heart, just like there are seeds in the ground. You shouldn't judge these desires. Instead, you should gently feed them and trust that the same wisdom that guides the seasons and stars also guides your deepest soul desires. Being in tune with the creative force of the universe means giving your wants your full attention, without attachment. Your dreams aren't just wishes, they are holy instructions that will help you reach your fullest potential. If this idea helps you see that your deepest desires are sacred, please like this video. Each like is a vote of confidence in your own divine blueprint. It gives the desires the universe planted in your heart more powerful energy. A woman named Louisa held her manifestation journal like a shield and crossed off her detailed to-do lists and exact due dates in a busy market square. Every morning, she compared her progress to strict standards. She got more and more angry when life didn't go the way she had planned. In spite of how hard she tried, the results seemed to just slip through her fingers like water. Most people miss this. There is a much more complex rule behind how the universe works than just cause and effect. When you try to plan out every single detail of your manifestations, you create resistance, which is a vibrational friction that stops the smooth, natural flow of abundance. This friction isn't caused by the desire itself. That's because they really believe that struggle and control are important for making things. The law of attraction doesn't care about what you do. It cares about how you feel. When you're stressed out and over-planning, your energy sends out a signal of lack that says, "I need to handle everything because I don't trust life's intelligence." You can't get what you want because you don't trust yourself. There is already everything you need for your manifestations in the quantum field. It's not your job to make them happen. This is done so that they can come true by taking the easiest route. The universe, with its infinite wisdom, sees connections and options that you can't even begin to imagine. It can make things happen in a way that is infinitely more beautiful than your most detailed plans could ever be. An old fisherman named Xavier lived on the shore of a long-ago sea. Over and over, he threw out his net and pulled hard against the waves every day. He cast his nets, but caught nothing. His arms got tired, and the fish seemed to be avoiding him no matter how hard he tried. One morning, he was so tired that he just let go of the net. To his surprise, as it drifted with the current, it filled up with fish that were drawn to the way it moved slowly through the water. This simple truth has been around for a long time. What you want is coming to you. Giving up wasn't defeat for the fisherman. It was in line. He let go of his tight grip on things and let nature work in his favor. The fish had always been there, but his struggle kept them away. When you let go of your tight grip on the when and how, you make room for the universe to show you its perfect way and divine timing. This isn't just waiting, it's active allowing, a state of alert receptivity in which you know exactly what you want, but are open to different ways of getting it. Think about how a flower grows. It doesn't strain or fight. It just faces the sun and opens up to let it in. It will grow because it is in line with natural law, not because of force. When you learn to trust the process, your manifestations will flow with the same natural grace. But here's where the real breakthrough is. You have to stop the pattern of struggle on purpose. Say it now if you're ready to let go of the weight of control and step into the beauty of letting go. Say, "I release control and allow the flow." By making this statement to the quantum field, you send a strong message that the battle is over. In a garden with lots of sun, a woman named Nora sits with colored pencils and paper, drawing her dreams and giving them life. With each stroke, she imbues the pictures with the essence of her deepest desires. A peaceful home with a view of the ocean, a healing center that is thriving, and gardens that are full of life. Something very strange happens as she draws. The pictures start to pulse with energy that seems to reach back to her, as if they are aware that they will soon be born. This holy action shows a basic truth about how the world works. Your imagination isn't just a dream. It's the quantum link between formless potential and the real world. When you imagine with long-lasting, strong emotion, you open up a powerful creative channel between your mind and the possibilities that exist. Each clear image you hold in your mind becomes a template in the quantum field that draws in the exact elements it needs to come to life. The universe doesn't first react to what you say or do, but to the living pictures you have in your mind. When you give these images emotional power, they turn into magnetic fields that bring their physical versions into being. This is why casual daydreams don't come true very often. They don't have the creative power that comes from having a sacred imagination with a purpose. A young architect named Hassan lived in the old city of Kashan. At night, he had visions of beautiful buildings. Some people thought Hassan's detailed daydreams were just his mind wandering, but Hassan knew they weren't. Every night, he would imagine himself walking through his made-up palaces, savoring the cool marble under his feet, the soothing sound of fountains, and the way light and shadow played off of each other through cleverly designed windows. As the years went by, travelers started to talk about amazing new buildings being built in faraway places that looked exactly like the ones Hassan had imagined in his mind. The fact that his imagined architecture had gone from being a thought to a real thing shows that the unseen always comes before the seen. This story whispers an eternal truth. By universal law, what you hold clearly in your mind must find form. The real world is just the last step in a creative process that starts in the realm of pure possibility. But this changes everything. A lot of people picture things from a place of, "I don't have this yet." Hassan didn't think of his palaces as something that wasn't there. He lived in them. He walked through their halls. He could feel their truth. In my opinion, this is the main difference between fantasy and real creative visualization. In the mountains, a woman named Beatrice did what many spiritual teachers told her to do every morning. She wrote down her blessings on gratitude lists. In spite of this, her heart got heavier, not lighter, with each entry. The words were empty recitals that didn't bring any real happiness. When you try to be grateful, you make the abundance you want to recognize more difficult to reach. The path of true appreciation is natural, like water finding its way downstream. You can't tell or force it to happen. The universe responds not to what you write, but to the sound you make. Being grateful comes naturally to you, and it instantly turns into a strong force of attraction that makes what you appreciate even stronger. This is the secret to having a lot of what you want. Not counting your blessings, but naturally being overflowing with gratitude. A wise man who was always on the move used to share the story of Sophia, a talented musician whose melodies had lost their appeal. She worked hard to tune her instrument every night, pulling on the strings so hard that they were almost broken. Even though her music was technically perfect, people weren't moved by it. Sophia began to hum one night as she sat under the stars to enjoy the beauty of the night. Something had changed as she reached for her instrument. She didn't try to force the strings to play, but instead let gratitude guide her fingers. People felt their souls and hearts change as the music played that night. She learned that real harmony doesn't come from conflict, but from valuing each other. This ancient knowledge shows a very important truth. Being grateful isn't something you can get better at. It's a frequency to take on. When you show genuine gratitude, you set off a resonance that brings you more experiences that are worth thanking. It turns into the energetic key that opens the doors to more profound levels of experience. Your thanks don't have to be big or hard to understand. Small acknowledgments, when they are sincere, have more power than long, flowery words that come from a sense of duty. One moment of genuine appreciation sends waves through the fabric of reality right away, opening up new ways to receive more abundance. If something in these words speaks to you, I want you to write one word below that describes the level of gratitude you choose to feel right now. Feel that word and type it. Don't think about it. This is the quantum field's record of your energy. Sages and mystics have whispered about this moment for as long as no one can remember. The moment when the seeker realizes they are the thing that was sought. As you worked hard to follow the spiral path of manifestation back to its source, you arrived at yourself, waiting. What seemed forbidden at the time was really just the deep, beautiful truth that you are the power you were looking for. You don't have to master the law of attraction. It's your own consciousness reflecting back to you in a beautiful way. Every desire that made you feel good was the universe calling itself into new form through you. Every fear you had in the past was the shadow of a God you had forgotten, calling for you to remember them fully. Every happy coincidence was your higher self winking at you through the veil of separation. You now really understand that manifestation isn't about getting things. In other words, it means letting your true, basic nature show. The things we talked about are still useful, but not as tools to get somewhere far away. Instead, they're useful as natural ways to show your creativity. Your vision boards become places where your divine imagination can run wild. Affirmations turn into songs of remembering that happen on their own. When you meditate, you stop looking for things and just be. You write your own experiences, not by trying hard or forcing yourself, but by the natural, peaceful glow of being awake. The universe doesn't do what you want it to do. It watches as you witness yourself becoming more and more joyful. Get this idea into every cell of your body. You're not learning how to make things. You are remembering that you are the very creation of the world. Every breath is a gift. Every beat of the heart is holy. Every moment is the beginning. You've always been what you were looking for. The journey was a beautiful way to wake up to this truth. If this video script really spoke to you, I want you to make one last statement. Just write one word below that describes the change you want to make right now. Not what you want, but the frequency you tell them you want. This is the last energetic mark you leave on the quantum field. You're making this claim, I remember. Give this message to someone in your life who is ready to remember who they really are. When you share these principles, you create a field of collective remembrance that speeds up their manifestation journey and yours in a big way. Please subscribe now if you want to stay on track, stay high, and stay in line with this truth. The world shows more of the truth the more of us who are awakened there are. Join this field of consciousness as a whole, and everything will change.